All right, so we'll do this in a second, but I do want to go over. So if you missed that on Friday because you were doing that testing thing, there were bisectors on it. So for the bisectors, we had angle bisectors and perpendicular bisectors. There were 4 problems on that. 3 of them you solved. Make sure you're ready. A bunch of kids missed one of the solving problems. The first 2 were pretty easy. The third one, it was technically the 4th question, but it was the 3rd solving problem. That one was a little trickier. Well, I say it was tricky. It was actually super, super easy. You really understood it. And then if you didn't really understood it, it was a little trickier. And then the other thing was triangles. You had to know, and again, some of you messed up on this quiz doing simple stuff. Like we went over this a million times, and then some of you tried to answer it a different way or something. You have to know how to put sides in order or angles in order. Sides or angles in order, smallest to largest. Some of you still made the mistake of naming the side wrong. That was wrong. A very few, and I don't know that it was this class, a very few of you just drew arrows across the triangle, which was fine if you told me like which, although I really shouldn't have accepted that because I want you to know how to name stuff, but I did if you wrote like smallest, middle, largest, but some people didn't even do that. They just drew lines across triangle. That tells me nothing. So make sure you check your grade when I put that in. Probably won't be until today, like probably not even during my planning. So there was that, and then the and then the other piece was, can the 3 sides make a triangle? And a lot of people missed. I shouldn't say a lot. Yeah, probably a lot. A lot of people missed one of those. Again, I was kind of surprised about that. There were some, I mean, I wouldn't even say they all follow the same rule. I guess you could think of them as trickies because they were different than what we had done in class, but it was still following the same rule. So what's the rule for this one? It's what? You take the 2 smallest sides, shortest sides, again, the 2 lowest numbers. So if it's the same number, then you use the 2 lowest numbers, you use 2 of that number. And again, remember, we're trying to determine if we can make a triangle. Have we ever seen a triangle where all the sides are the same length? All the time, right? So of course you can make a triangle with it. We've done it throughout class. So once you miss out, bunch you miss out.
So like, what's
the 2 shortest sides? So you look at the 3 numbers. You take the 2 smallest. If they're all the same, 2 of them add up, and that has to be greater than the other side, the largest.
So it can't be equal to?
No, cannot be equal to. And some of you didn't take the 2 shortest sides. You added up the longest side and one of the shortest sides because of the order they were.
I think they got, yeah, because the order.
Order doesn't matter. It's 2 shortest sides. You just took the first 2 sides, added them, and determined.
They're probably trying to rush it.
And again, you got to pay attention on the easy stuff too. It's maybe even more important sometimes on the easy stuff to pay attention. All right, so that was on there. If you did not take it Friday, make sure you're ready. Don't just rush in here to take it because your grade is really super low because it goes in as a 0 once I put it in. Make sure you are ready. You will only get 1 shot at it. I'm not going to have those retakes graded in time for you to do another. So make sure you're ready. I think that's everything on that stuff. So we'll go ahead. We got a lot to do in the lesson, and we got like 30 minutes to try to cram all of it in. Still, what is a median? Yeah, remember median. So for those of you that were not here, this is your super short, quick review. We said a median is a line drawn, well, when it refers to like triangles. A median is a line drawn from the vertex of a triangle to the opposite side, to the midpoint of the opposite side. I'm gonna do it in a second, but we'll do these two real quick. So from the vertex to the opposite midpoint. What is an altitude? What do we say altitude was kind of like the word we said? Yeah, that'd be more like slope. What did we say? What is altitude? Just English. What's altitude mean? How high you are, right? Altitude means how high. Well, it's the height. That's really what altitude is. It's just the height of the triangle. And there are three of them because you can rotate the triangle. And then every time you rotate it, you would have a new height. So altitude is like the height. So again, those two hopefully are not horrible to try to remember. And the way you create them. Oh, increase. So the way you create them again. Oh, that's the I'm sorry. There we go. So for this particular triangle, if I take a line and draw it, and I'm just going to quickly do it, it may not be perfect. If I draw a line in, so that is the midpoint of the side. Again, median midpoint. We're always drawing a line from the vertex, from the corner of a triangle. So all of these are from the vertex. So all you got to remember is where are you drawing it to? Well, for a median, I draw it to the opposite midpoint. If I do that, oops. There. If I do that from all three midpoints to all three vertices, vertices is the plural of vertex, they all cross in one spot. And we said that is called, like anytime you have lines crossing in one spot, it's called a point of concurrence. But that specific point is called the centroid. So this was the three things you had to memorize, and this is a vocabulary. I mean, it is a vocabulary test in a sense that you have to know the meanings. I'm not just going to say what's the definition of midpoint, or what, I'm sorry, what's the definition of median, but I'm going to give you a figure. You have to be able to tell which term it is, because that tells you what math you can do. Because each of them has different properties as far as the math goes, which we probably won't get to that today. Today will be more vocabulary day again. And then, so this center point is the centroid for that. So again, that's the three things that go together. And this is the thing that has some specific properties as well. Well, really, it's the segments going out of that, like the different line segments that we'll get to again, like I said, probably Wednesday. So those three things go together. All right. So then we did altitude. I've already drawn them in. I'm not going to change them. So in altitude, we said, again, that just kind of means the height, which hopefully can help you remember it. Altitude. Well, if it's the height, first of all, did I spell it wrong? Altitude.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. So, well, no, I totally wrote it wrong the first time. I didn't look at that part of it. There was another part of it. So if I draw in height, remember, kind of like distance, it's got to be perpendicular. So hopefully you can make that connection. If I'm going to draw in the height of a triangle, I'm not going to draw it from here and draw it slanted left or slanted right. I'm going to draw it at a 90-degree angle, which means if I'm going to do that from the top vertex, I do it from every vertex, always drawing it at a 90-degree angle. Now there's another one that has three 90-degree angles. These are the two that are going to be tricky. So you need to understand, again, altitude is drawn from a vertex to it's not to the midpoint of the opposite side. It is just at a 90-degree angle. So sometimes we said, well, wait a minute, if I'm in a vertex and I need to draw it to the other side at a 90-degree angle, there's no way to do that if I try to draw across to the other side. I can't, the way the triangle looks, I can't make a 90-degree angle. So we said sometimes you actually have to extend the side out with a little imaginary line so that you can draw down at a perpendicular angle. And then again, when they all meet in the same, they will all meet in a single point when you do that with all three of the vertices. So every vertices still has an altitude. I drew it in from every single corner. When they meet, I don't know if I wrote that. It's in your book, but that's the orthocenter. There's no real math associated with that. You just visually have to recognize that one. Yeah, it's in there. It's. You have to go backwards. It is page 364. So if you want to mark 364 or write that in your notes, however you're doing it, 364. Again, no real math associated with that. So that would be the one exception where the only question I can really ask you is some kind of a definition, like either I'd have to ask, I draw it for you and say, identify what, point of concurrency you have or something. So that one is when you just memorize, there's no real math behind it. Once you can recognize what the figures is. So now we got to go backwards a little bit. So go back to perpendicular bisectors. Yeah, that's the beginning of the chapter. Yes, so go to 346 will work. 346, 347. Look at the bottom of 346. We did not do this, so I don't even think I have one in here. It's not baby shark. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're seeing it.
There's no shark.
No stars. I don't know what you're talking about.
Go back.
You're seeing.
There's sharks.
I don't know what you guys are seeing. So.
That's what I'm saying.
Brother, you're
Oh, there we go. Yeah, here we go. Here. All right, I guess we'll use this, and I'm just gonna. So again, this is in the book. I'm gonna go ahead and show you this. So. All right, so here's where it starts getting confusing. So we skipped over this and we only did the perpendicular bisectors as far as like what it means to solve some problems. There's also a point of concurrency associated with those as well. So that's called, again, 347. It's in your book, so you can take whatever notes you want. It's called the circumcenter. So all of these lines, now, boy, this is an exception to the other thing too. All of these lines are drawn. You notice these are not drawn. Not drawn from a vertex. I kind of like. Hook bones are not out. So I am drawing it because what is a perpendicular bisector? What is two pieces? What's the definition of it? So we are splitting a side in two at a 90-degree angle. So it's not going to be able to go through a vertex. We're starting from the side on that. So if you can see it, there's a little red point that is point that is the midpoint of every side. We are actually starting on the side for this. So again, perpendicular. So this is associated with, I have tons of room. I'll just write it here. Perpendicular bisector. So that you need to associate those two with each other. Again, if you do not, now it won't be on this quarter, so it won't hurt your grade this quarter, but it'll be your first grade next quarter. If you do not put some time into memorizing this stuff, you will fail. I mean, not pass and get a C, you will fail. There's no way to do it without memorizing what goes with what. Because not only will you miss any understanding questions, you will miss every math question because you won't know which math to do. Because a lot of them look very similar. This is gonna have 3 right angles, just like the angle bisector doesn't. The median goes to the other side, which is the one. There's another one anyway. There's another one that goes from a vert. Oh, the altitude. The altitude could have 3 because it's drawn at a perpendicular angle from every vertex. So you got to understand when you see 3 right angles, or I may not even give you the right angles. I may just tell you that it's a circumcenter and you have to know it's at a right angle, which then would tell you the math you need to do. So there's a lot of types of questions that can come out of this. And the only way you're going to do okay on it, I don't know about well, like this was one of those quizzes where the grades were super low. A 70 was a great grade on this quiz, even after retakes. A lot of people didn't come in and retakes. So again, circumcenter is the point of concurrency, the point where all the lines meet. The way it is created is by drawing in perpendicular bisectors from every side, all 3 sides. And then again, perpendicular bisector is drawn in from the midpoints at a right angle. So if I tell you it's a circumcenter, this is the kind of stuff you have to remember or like make a connection. If I just say that's a circumcenter and I put some kind of equations in there, good chance that it has to do with the fact that all the sides have equal segments. And again, I won't tell you that. I won't put any markings. I'll just tell you it's in circumcenter, and then I'll put some kind of numbers around the sides, and you got to know that, oh, well, circumcenter means it's midpoints, so every side is split in 2. But I won't give you the congruent marks. So you just have to know from the definition of the circumcenter that those things are congruent. So Incenter we did not do either. We skipped over that. Incenter is created if we draw in bisectors also, but it's angle bisectors. So here I'm taking every angle and I'm drawing a bisector from the angle. Oh boy, was it? Oh, that's pretty good. And if I do that again, listen, I can't. I don't know why it jumps around a little bit. That one's easy. But if I do that, pretty good, right? You'll see again, it all meets in the same spot. So again, what you need to memorize for this one, Incenter is created by drawing in angle bisectors. So again, the math you would have to do comes from the fact that you know every angle is bisected. So if I just say, using the figure below, where you see an incenter, solve for x, and that's all you get. Well, you then have to know, okay, so for an incenter, we bisected angles. Well, if we bisected angles, all of these are congruent. And then from that, you'd probably be able to figure out some kind of an equation. I don't know how to work with opposite less. So I will not give you congruence marks on most of these problems. I'll tell you what it is, and then you have to make the connection. Okay, well, that is created by doing this. Well, that means that the math would be, or the equation would be, whatever it would be. And we'll get that part, we'll get to next class. I think that's it. Okay, so you have 4 different. Did I put the picture of it up? I don't know what you're talking about. You guys are seeing some. Did I tell you to take a picture of that? Take a picture of that. It's not gigantic, so try to zoom in, keep your phone still. we're gonna go over it more, but just so you already have it, that way it's on your phone if you ever have a chance to study. Holy cow.
That's great. I can make out the big.
So that's not all of them. Those are the three with map. So those are the ones where if I tell you what the name of the point of concurrency is, then that tells you what math you can do based on whatever variables and numbers I give you. It's rough. That's so almost at it. I know that was solid right in the. So what's the one that's not up there? Which one did I not put up there? The one with altitude, which is what is the name of the point of concurrency? It's created by altitude. What's the name of the point of concurrency for the altitude?
Work I did. Oh, I already did make that earlier.
Huh, I can't remember.
What? It's in your.
You guys are seeing stuff.
Oh,
You can find this.
What's the one? What's the name? Hurry, come on. What's the name of the one drawn with the that is created by the altitude? We just did it. Actually, we did it twice. We did it.
Is it Incenter?
Nope. It's not up there.
Oh.
Orthocenter. So again, the altitude one doesn't really have any math associated with it. That's why I didn't create. I mean, it's just the orthocenter is created by the altitude. And then you have to know what an altitude is. Altitude is from a vertex at a 90-degree angle. So remember, this one here, you're gonna see 90-degree angles in that, and then also on the altitude when you're gonna see 90-degree angles. So some of these are gonna be a little tricky to remember. I have another. Oh, that's the next bit. Where did it go? This? Nobody did. Oh, we had a small group, but nobody did that one in this. How was it?
We didn't have any questions.
You have questions today. Yeah, you try.
Fine, so you know.
It's a short game.
No, you just asked me a short.
You're acknowledging that I've got this.
He asked to see one. I didn't acknowledge
There's
it.
one of them here. Yeah. Talk about that. Yeah, it's talking about you.
Let's see. All right, so we gotta do the. Yeah, we'll save everything else for the next class. Yeah, we'll save. So here's the one piece we didn't finish on triangles. I don't even know where it is, but we're just gonna do this. All right, so refocus, because here's some math. This is your next quiz. So we did something before where I said, if we have side here, this will be super short review. If we have some sides, like I gave you 3 sticks, we did, but. Can I make a triangle out of that?
Oh.
No. So here's quick review. First thing is, these are the 2 shortest. You don't just look at the first 2 numbers. Some people did. They also they are not greater than, they equal. So 6 plus 4 is 10. That is not greater than 10 on the side. Which actually most people didn't make that mistake. Well, there were some. So again, that is not a triangle. Right? There were a bunch of questions like that on the quiz. Here's the thing that was not on the quiz that we did start. Actually, we did it in this class. I didn't even start it in the other classes. What if I have 2 sides and then an unknown length, like completely unknown? Try to do it. I want you to tell me, what can X be? And I'll give you a hint. It's a range of numbers. It's not just one number.
Guys, I'm good.
I got it.
I didn't read this shit.
It is.
So tell me what the range of numbers, and we came up with the trick already. Write it down. We're not going to do it for a second. I want everybody to think about it.
I got this last time too. He's not.
I will come, we'll spend more time. Who did that one?
Sorry.
No, this one.
No, I asked that question.
We'll go over that before. Did you write everything down?
I wrote everything down. I was just confused. Because they both look at their food.
Oh, well, now, some of them do come from angles, but in one case, they go across with a median, in one case, they bisect the angles, so they do come out of angles.
Okay.
And sometimes the one that goes to the median could look like it bisects the angle, so you, like, that's what becomes tricky, is when they look similar and you gotta figure out. So what I could do is I could say something like this, and I say, and then because you say, okay, well, I know this is the median or a midpoint, right?
Yeah.
So if that's a median,
I would mean that half a
I'm sorry, if that was a midpoint, that means that's a median, which means if I did it with all of them, that point would be the central.
Central.
Yeah.
Centroid.
The first one we just.
Yeah.
Take me a second, I gotta think about it. Just memorize something.
So I got it.
You did actually get it last time.
Yeah, I was.
All right, so let's go ahead and ignore that. What is the
You're wrong.
concept we're using in this?
What's that?
The same concept. What's the concept?
Smallest, the smallest.
The smallest two sides added together
Have to be bigger
have
than
to
the
be
big one.
greater than the biggest side.
Yes.
So with that in mind, what we have, I'm just gonna tell you this. We don't know anything at all. I didn't tell you this is the largest side. I didn't tell you it's one of the smallest sides. So you have to come up with your answer based on it being either. You have to say, okay, well, what if this was one of the smallest sides? So again, I'm gonna zoom out. I want to show you so if you are struggling a little bit on this, here's your process. This is the formula. Did you just say what I thought you
That's
said?
bad language.
I know, right? Can't believe it.
Send it to the calculator.
Listen, I am a Christian.
Sure.
I cannot be hearing that type of Christian. Holy. I have a Bible on that. I'll put it out. Holy.
Why do you keep it in the people?
And I'm so strapped to the Lord.
All right, write that down. That's your formula. If you're struggling with the concept, it's short side 1 plus short side 2 has to be greater than longest side. I can zoom in a little bit on that. That's our 3 numbers. Oh, that's all the way down.
I'm not gonna let you get the,
So there are 2 possible options on this. The X could be the longest side. Well, we're gonna, okay, raise your, how can I do this? I don't want us to think for us. I'm gonna let Sierra give us an answer.
I mean, hey.
She had her hand up a lot.
Censor yourself.
Listen, okay. What I can figure from it is it's anything greater than 31 and anything less than 50.
Well, be careful on your numbers. You got the right concept. You guys forget their decimals though.
Can I say?
Right.
No, let me say.
You have the concept down. I'll go with Dylan.
So if the range is 9 through 19. Correct.
Oh,
Nice. No, it's not good. No, it's not.
God.
30.
It's 9 through 30.
What?
It's 9 through 30.
That's what I just said. And
She
he
did
said
just say
no.
the same thing.
Yeah.
We're both different.
So, all right. Well, no, maybe that's right. I didn't do this.
No, it is right.
That's the math.
Yeah. So here's the. Did not have to yell at me. So process is this. X could be one of the short sides, right? Like we had no knowledge whatsoever about it. So I would plug in, if it's one of the short sides, 11 is definitely one of the short sides, right? Because it's smaller than 19. So I know 11 plus if X is the shorter side, then I put it there and it has to be greater. So I'm assuming 19 is the longest side. So now you just solve. Yeah, that's not right. You guys are wrong.
No, we're
No,
not.
it's not.
Mr.
Really?
Gill, you are wrong.
Really? So what am I going to get when I subtract? 19 subtract 11. You get 9?
You get
Yeah, but-
eight.
Yeah,
Hey.
but 11
You
plus
wanna be
8 is
greater
19.
than 19.
Yeah. So 8.5
That
is
would
not
be
greater than 8.
11
That
plus
would be
8 would not be.
8.5 is not greater than 8.
It starts at 8.1 and then goes.
No, it starts at anything greater than 8. It starts at 8.00000 forever. And then finally at 1. You guys have got to remember there are decimals. Some of you made that mistake. You know, this wasn't on there. Last year, tons of people made that mistake. There is no skip from 8 to 9. You skip the whole, technically, there is an infinite number of numbers between 8 and 9. You skip an infinite number of numbers. It has to be greater than 8. And then so now we got to figure out. Here, I'm just gonna write this up there so I can redo it. So X has to be greater than 8, and I'll show you the way you'd write the final answer in a minute. Now, the other thing that could happen is X could be what? Not a number, like it could be one of the shortest sides, or it could be the longest side, right? So we do the same thing. If it's the longest side, that means 11 and 19 are the two shortest. And that's your question. You got the 30 part right. Why did you get you knew it? Like you used 30 when you did it. You didn't say 29. So X would have to be that means X is less than when the X is on the right side like that. So X has to be greater than 8 and it has to be less than 30. Everybody got that? I'm going to rewrite the answer. This is the way you need to write that. And you do need to know how to write this when we deal with inequalities. So X has to be greater than 8, less than 30. Again, no equal to sign anywhere. Do not put an equal to. Don't put just, sometimes kids just put an equal sign, but don't put greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. It has to be greater than and has to be less than. Those two numbers. So again, this is your report. If you just do that and you understand, well, it could be the shortest, one of the shortest, it could be one of the longest. I think that'll straighten it up instead of you trying to conceptually figure out what it could be and do all of that. Just plug in the numbers into that formula and just solve it. Track from both sides, or in one of them, you just add two numbers together. So that will be on your next quiz. We didn't get to it. And then all the other Incenter stuff will be on there. Here's your problem. I don't remember if I assigned this in this class. For now, I'm just giving you the problems on that, the triangle stuff. I think. So I don't think I did give you the problem. Yeah, I did not. Oh, and there are going to be some IXLs I'll put in on, certainly on this. I don't know about the other stuff. Let's see. So I gotta find.
Imagine being in here for a block.
All right, so page 385.
Wait,
Wait.
85.
Yeah, 385. That's actually not even. 385, we already did.
Yeah. Yeah, which I was on Friday. Was it?
Dude. Oh, so I guess it's only like 4 problems. Could be more. I may try to find some.
We get 385.
9 through 12. Yeah, 385 adds 9 through 12, what we did before.
It's not word for me.
Example 2 is an example you can also do. So 385, 9 through 12, and example 2.
What's the point? I
Kind of solve it out.
graduate. But once I
The 5 that's all they give you, that's much more. That is much more difficult, they only give you 4 problems. 385, 12, example 2.
Mr. Gill.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do good on my quiz.
I have no idea. I have 100 quizzes. I don't remember what. Sometimes I do, but I mean, that's not the norm. But actually, I have more than 100 because I often grade
Would you be able to check in?
Yeah, we can in a minute. Well, like I said, after the bell rings, it's like, that's an after class thing, especially when we don't have a block.
Wait, whoa. I was asking about goods relationships. Yeah, I'll send this to be as like a good single and then he's like. I gave up. David has to be on, especially after. I know I'm. One mistake was.
In your life, then.
No.
Remember, well, not allow, say it every day. Everything is done for my class as a 3 p.m. Wednesday. I'm not doing any grades after that. So when I put those grades into focus today, whether it's into my planning or after school or whatever, you got 2 days. And if you need tutoring, I mean, you'd have to go Tuesday for tutoring and then make it up Wednesday, unless you think you can do it all in one day. So. Time is running out.
I got my eye on it.
That's right, you need to, we can be in this. Wait. See?
No, that's what I was told. Don't take my word.
No, take her writing roofers about people, that's. That's selling. That's selling. You just like me. Or are we?
Yes, let's have
Everywhere.
We'll make that the new. Which you do
Okay,
in.
good. Why would you go to a movie?
Never went to.
Yeah, I did.
Movie watch.
Michigan.
You're great. So you can still do that
You
one.
were supposed to watch it.
No.
I'll buy you one. Oh, it's a lot minus. All right. I'll watch it. I'll buy you one. What's your out?
You know what?
I got the man. I'm actually.
You know what?
Yo. Sierra. I'll be your sugar.
What?
I got the public stock.
Messages. 89 of 24.
Wait, what are they about? 21 months. What? You sit down. Right. I thought the song. No. I didn't know it's told. I know it's wrong. It was surprise. What? Not waiting to see my moves.
We still don't use phones, so hopefully nobody jumped on phones.
Yeah, Dylan. I'll show you. Oh, yeah, no.
Should have been practicing if you were doing anything.
Y'all can you're
So what is this called? Triangles.
Exactly. Right? So, yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about Massachusetts.
Oh,
And it's true.
oh, that's what you ate. I hate girls so much. Yeah, when I'm also better. That's
Oh, I gotta do attendance.
I'm making some interview. Wait, what?
Oh, were you?
Maybe by next semester.
Were you guys watching grades?
The grade. No, but I was squaddling.
Yeah,
I was squaddling for a castle. I squaddling.
I'm a guy.
You're a guy, so shut up. I was squaddling. Mr. Gill.
Yeah.
That's it for right now.
Yes, I-
Yeah. That's all you keep talking about me writing.
Was that again?
I'm thinking right now that, yeah, you haven't seen it.
Well, again, I hope they do well because they are not gonna get another shot at it. Are you good on that? Angelina? You good on that question?
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
do more of it Wednesday.
Y'all figure it out.
Cousins.
Yeah.
That's cousin. That's funny.
I know.
I'm not gonna buy it out. In fact, I spent like over.
Who?
Like, I'm a little. Rio, you can tell me.